The trial is kind of fascinating. It's good, great, actually, full of good humor, fun adventure, along with some emotional and shocking moments. It's just that none of those things feel like they're actually from the same episode. The trial plays like an anthology of 3 different episodes in one 45-minute story. Nonetheless, this one is exceptional, with that unique ability Season 2 episodes have had to play all the major notes in one episode from its entire arc.
The sunshine I'm needing, ain't that a shame? It's so hard to keep up with troubles that creep up from out.
The episode opens with the pleasant return of Fussy Angel.
You got peanut butter on the bed. Wrinkle-free. Right. After you iron it for 15 minutes.
Cordy and Wes read his distraction with the finer points menswear as a sign that he has started to get over...
Don't say Darla.
Fine. Smamarla has been staying at a rundown hotel. I like the repetition of the mirror motif that has permeated this season and her realization at the sight of red on her lips. Darla is now capable of taking hard looks at herself. Angel still needs the rest of the team. Gunn has found where she is staying. They set out, but a freshly coiffed Lindsay has beaten them there. The long, floppy hair of Season 1 is mercifully gone. For now. Lindsay takes her to Holland, who assures her,
"You're not our prisoner, Darla. You are, however, our moral responsibility."
Whenever Holland talks about morals so warmly,
My ass begins to twitch.
Holland hands her a medical file. In flashback, we see Angelus and Darla fleeing some unseen force.
Holtz is no mere mortal, I'll tell you that.
Of course he is. He's just a man, a vampire hunter.
Oh boy. Didn't realize we were hitting this part of the series. Darla in the present is searching crummy dive bars for vampires to turn her. This is a great scene, and I like this casting. This guy looks like one of the wet bandits. Vamp Darla would have beheaded Vamp Marv in 10 seconds after turning.
I'm not real clear on how this thing works.
What?
It almost feels like something from a fan fiction, the mundane happenings of your average vampire. Side question, who was dumb enough to turn this guy?
I've known you for 2 minutes and I can't stand you. I don't really feature you living forever.
Anywho, Vampire Marv goes for the bite, and Angel breaks up Darla's bottom. Close-talking Angel explains that if Darla turns, he's going to have to kill her. Darla reveals to Angel her rush to be turned.
I'm dying.
In flashback, we see Darla betray Angelus to Holtz. Angel visits Lindsay to find confirmation about Darla, and Lindsay, still weaponized by Holland in the way we talked about, and not caring that he is, gives it to him.
They all say the same thing. Syphilitic heart condition.
Syphilis?
Of course, today something like that could be cleared up with a few antibiotics, if you catch it in time.
If I'm doing the math right, presumably Darla's condition has been advancing since she's been back. End of Season 1 was her return. That was at least 5-6 months ago. This means Lindsay A doesn't take it into account, or B doesn't care that Holland and everyone probably knew and just ignored it.
Do you love her, Lindsay?
I love the way David plays this, the long pause, the judgmental smirk. The evolution of Angel's chemistry with Lindsay from Blind Date continues to progress, and this current phase of older brother bullying is so fascinating.
I was with her for 150 years.
But you never loved her.
I wasn't capable of it, neither are you. You still love her. It must just eat you up that I got there first.
Every character seems to have their own perspective on how love works and how its form is mitigated by the soul. I just read this scene as vampirism and narcissism are roughly parallel. Or, Angel is wrong about what Angelus was capable of and is just stabbing at Lindsay.
Love. Is this the work of love?
Angel returns with the bad news and, out of desperation, takes Darla to see Lorne. That's Julie Benz actually singing the song "Ill Wind" by Harold Arlen and Ted Koehler, popularized by Frank Sinatra. I love this shot, Lorne and Angel on either side of the frame as the camera pushes in. The scene is probably a reference to the 1984 film The Cotton Club by Francis Ford Coppola. The movie is about a jazz club in the late 1920s owned by mobsters, a club which featured some of the nation's most talented black performers doing shows to all-white audiences. One of the stories in the movie concerns the relationship between Sandman and Lila, a biracial woman who can pass as white and, at the film's midpoint, sings,
"You're blowing me no
Lorne gives Angel an address of someone who might be able to help.
It's a bit of a quest, and it'll probably kill you.
And this begins the episode's second distinct flavor, Angel's 3 trials to save Darla's life. There are a couple of neat details in the sequence. In the first trial, the demon that can connect his body back together is a really cool use of a simple special effect, though continuing to beat the aspect ratio dead horse. Since these shots were supposed to be cropped for 4:3 TVs, you can actually see the green screen pants the actor has on in the 16:9 DVD versions. The next trial is to traverse a cross-covered floor, fish a key out of holy water, and open a door, and the final trial...
What is this? You must choose. But choose wisely.
I always realized that this entire sequence bore some similarity to Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, but it didn't strike me just how much until this rewatch. In both cases, there is a kind Englishman guiding our protagonists. In Last Crusade, Indy is doing 3 trials in order to get the Holy Grail and save his father's life. Angel is doing his to save Darla's. Indy's first trial is not to be chopped in half. Angel's is to battle a man who can survive being so. In the second trial, Indy must walk over the name of God. Angel must walk over one of his icons. Indy's third trial is a leap of faith, the actual first trial that starts Angel's with his pool jump, and the final trial for them both is the same.
You've earned a choice, and are you still ready to give your life when she can promise you nothing?
Yes.
He chose poorly.
But it's too late.
She's earned a second chance.
She's living her second chance.
And the episode ends in its third flavor. The melancholy, grief-ridden acceptance of death swinging to, oh my god, I can't believe they just went there, horror, as Lindsay plus Entourage break in, and he's brought along a guest. Okay, so look, it's all so good. Really, really super awesome good. Lots of surprises and humor within each scene, some fun adventure, and then that powerhouse family reunion at the end. The trial is an unforgettable episode, but I tend to forget that all of these things are in the same episode. Vamp Marv, to Ill Wind, to Swan Dive, to Chosen Poorly, to Drew slow motion waltzing into the room like some kind of majestic, terrifying specter of amazing. Seriously, that entrance has to be one of the most memorable ever. The episode is very busy with wonderful, it's just that its flavors don't feel integrated with each other, but swingy instead, from intimate character study to adventure to whatever the hell that last one is, pants-wettingly captivating. The mix of flavors make a certain sense, given the opening credits list 3 different writers with pretty distinctive voices. Tim Minear and Doug Petrie for the teleplay, with David Greenwalt for the story. And IMDb even has Mayor Smith listed in addition as an uncredited staff writer on this one. But I think the spectrum of influences might be the thing making the episode feel oddly episodic within itself. We've established that flashback episodes tend to be some of the best in the Buffyverse. Normally, they occur as a parallel B story unfolding over the course of the episode, giving some fresh perspective on the events in the present. This episode has one. A good one, that sets up the legend of Holtz and gives us a comparative model for Darla and Angel, but it's also the only episode I can think of at this point with one single flashback. Honestly, this one is so good, I'm not sure any of this can even be considered a criticism, just structural oddities that seemed worth mentioning. There are a couple of other odds and ends to this one. The influence of drinking Kate in The Shroud of Ramon is, on the surface at least, nowhere to be found.
She chose this neighborhood for a reason.
Oh, how'd you...
A motel, public accommodation. She doesn't live here.
Interesting loophole. That helps set up Drew's ability to enter the hotel room at the end of the episode, but seems like a weirdly specific exception to the magical rules. Home is such a nebulous and emotional thing that is specific to each individual. What if you're renting an apartment? Technically, the renter doesn't own the home. Or if your bank has foreclosed on your home, or, you know what?
Never mind.
There are more nice beats in the Angel relationship that mirror and invert Buffy and Angels.
It's exactly what they want us to do, Darla. We'd be playing right into their hands.
I don't care. I don't want to die.
I don't want to die.
I know this is hard.
What do you know about this? You're never gonna die.
You think I want anything to happen to you, huh? Do you think I could stand it?
At some point in the second season, Buffy being able to accept who she was meant having to make a choice between letting Angel live or die, and Darla's accepting herself here happens from Angel's choice to live or die for her. I also think the name of the episode is pretty interesting. For one, it isn't pluralized. This title isn't about the trials Angel is put through, but what this current journey with Darla represents at this phase in his life. And given the episode's ending, I don't think we can know the verdict just yet. More importantly, Judgment and The Trial, two episode titles this season that I regularly mix up, are legal vernacular, and that is Wolfram and Hart's domain, not Angel's, telling us something about everything transpiring in this episode.
Their rules, their game.
Lindsay realized in the episode Darla that he was a pawn in all this, but doesn't care. Angel realizes a game has been put in front of him, but is underestimating Wolfram and Hart's appreciation of his ethos, thinking the choice is for him to turn her or to not. So he goes on a quest, he follows the rules, and once again, can't win, because it's all part of the same system. It's all the trial. The real choice has been whether to play or to not.
We're not going to enable you in your addiction!
Cordy's take on Angel's Darla fixation as an addiction is particularly telling, given the alcoholic metaphor of Angel's vampirism and the show's always dangling question of a relapse. But if this is all going according to some Wolfram and Hart plan that Holland is manipulating from the shadows, then Angel and Darla were still meant to face the trials and win a life. And they did win it. But if not Darla's, then whose?
What's this man holds? How does he keep finding us?
Jasmine. It blooms at night.
The end of the trials sequence always felt like something of a frustrating anticlimax to me that cast a strange shadow over the episode, the writers making an entire portion of the story feel like a pointless detour in the plot. But this time through, I started thinking about how well that works with the thematic design of the season. Darla was trying to beat her death with vampiric immortality. Angel fights to beat it with the quest.
Why don't you just kill him if you want him dead?
We don't want anything, miss. In this place, the journey is all. Where it may lead is not our concern.
And that pretty much sums up the existential indifference of mortality. Life doesn't care. Life isn't motivated with any prosaic interests in who lives or dies. Life just is. It's people who imbue it with meaning.
His head's too full of you, Grandmother.
Stop calling me that.
Don't be cross. I could be your mummy.